Hello there. Today I'm going to make some vegan Haitian plantain porridge or la bouillie banane. So what you'll need will be 2 plantains or just one. And so what I did is I cut this plantain into small pieces after I peeled it. So all you have to do is just remove the 2 ends, peel it, and just cut them into small pieces to put into the blender. And you'll need some water, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, a little salt, a pinch of salt, and we have here star anise, some creamy almond milk. Actually no, it's almond creamer, and we have here vanilla extract and a little ginger. So if you don't have the ginger paste, what you could do is you could just grind the ginger, or you could just remove that. You don't have to necessarily use the ginger in this porridge, but it tastes really good with the ginger. And we also have some sugar. You can also use a different type of sugar, not necessarily cane sugar. You could use coconut sugar if you want to, but tonight I'm going to do cane sugar. I'm going to use that sugar, and a little bit of almond milk. So the coconut almond milk is really good in this plantain porridge. You could use almond milk all by itself if you like, or you can use a combination of milk. It's up to you how you want to do it. So tonight, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this milk to blend my plantains, and I'm going to use this later on. You'll see. So first we will start with our water. I'm going to put about, I would say about 2 cups of water, and in this water I will add so now this is my water that's about to boil. So I put the star anise, and I put a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon and a pinch of salt. I don't have the exact measurements right now, but it's like you just put as much as you think you need. So this is what I'm showing you here. Basically what I added was about, I would say, half a teaspoon of each. No, a quarter teaspoon of the nutmeg, half a teaspoon of the cinnamon. And you know, it depends on how you like it. If you want to put 1 star anise, that's fine, or you can put 2. That's fine. I wouldn't put more than 2 star anise. Or you can put the cinnamon sticks as well, but I ran out of cinnamon sticks, so that's the reason why you see that I put the powder. So later on, as I taste it, there's a possibility I just may add a little bit more spices. So it's, you know, basically in West Indian cooking, Haitian cooking, basically we go according to taste. We don't measure that much. Yeah, so let's continue. Now, as the water is boiling, what I'm going to do is I will add the plantains into my blender. Alright, and I'm going to put in a little bit of milk. So yeah, that should be enough milk to blend it. Some people put water, but I prefer the milk because it's vegan, and my vegan milk is not as thick as the traditional milk that they use. So here we go. We are going to blend this. So this is the consistency that you want. You want something that's not too watery. And if it has some lumps, you might want to do a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blend it just a little bit more, just to make it a little bit smoother. Blending, usually if you have fresh ginger, what you could do is add the ginger right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little ginger, about a teaspoon of ginger or less, and yeah, that's it. To mention that when you are starting your porridge, along with the seasoning, you also need the skin of a lemon, or 2 pieces, 1 or 2 pieces, as you can see here. And or if you don't want to, you can add a little bit of zest, and it gives a lot of good flavor to your porridge. So that is one part that I forgot to mention earlier. Thank you. Bye. So now you can see my water is about to boil, but you don't want it to be boiling rapidly. So at this point, it's good to pour in the plantain. And I went on and added another plantain. I cut the other plantain in there, and so that milk, quantity of the milk that I added, was sufficient for 2 plantains. So now what we do is we just, stir and stir and stir. So what I'm going to do right now is add a little milk to the blender, a little bit of the creamer, so I'm going to add a little bit of this creamer in the blender so that it will soak up some of the stuff that's in there. And I just put a little bit just so I could remove some of the residue in the blender. So that was about, I would say, a 1/4 cup. So far, I already added almost everything except for the sugar and the butter. So just when it's about to be fully cooked, that's when I will add the sugar and the butter and the vanilla. So this is very easy, very simple. Doesn't take much time, but one thing I must say is that when you're making this, make sure that it's on low fire. It's not that high, like I would say medium low, not too low either because it'll take forever to cook it. But if it's too high, it will tend to cook a little bit too fast. So this is a good spoon for it, and just make sure that you turn, you just mix it and going into one direction, not two. So you can see that it's getting thicker and thicker. Perhaps you might want to add a little bit more milk at this point. So I'm going to add a little bit of milk, and this milk is really creamy, so I don't really need to add that much. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to cover this for a few minutes. Make sure it's on low. So now it's been about, I would say, about 3 minutes since it's been on low fire. And if you feel like it's taking too much time, you could lower the fire, lower your burner. You know, don't let it cook too fast. And this is gonna make too many little bumps, little bubbles. So now I can put my sugar. And so for me, I am going to add about 1/4 cup or even less sugar, because here in this family we don't consume too much sugar. Actually, I'm gonna put half of this, but it all depends on your taste. So that was about 1/8 of a cup. Only reason because we try not to eat too much sugar, and so what I usually do for those who do want a little bit more sugar, they can add more sugar at the end. Once it's cooked, they can just add their own sugar. So here you see how it's getting thicker. At this point you might want to add a little bit more milk, but you don't necessarily have to. Really fast here. And it will get thicker as it continues to cook. So I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. Let's see how that goes. And the trick to this is you have to keep stirring and stirring. If you keep it covered for a few minutes, don't leave it too long, no more than a minute or two on the fire. Now at this point, I'm going to add some butter. This is about, I would say, a little bit, around 1/4 cup or less. Depends on how much butter you like. I have a lot of butter in my porridge. I would probably put more. To put So here I put about a teaspoon of vanilla. It smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. Now, this consistency, it means that it's not cooked yet. It's not fully cooked. And it has a few bumps, but I'm going to do something else to remove some of those bumps. So basically what I did is I used a whisk to whisk the plantain porridge, and for some reason I cut that part off by accident, so it came out a little bit smoother. And so this is basically what it looks like cooked. I added a little bit of water because I felt like it was a little bit too sweet and a little too thick. That milk is really thick and creamy. So if you don't want it too thick, you could use just this coconut almond milk, and I just didn't have enough, so that's why I used a combination of 2 milks. But as I said, I really like this milk because it gives it, a nice texture. It's creamy, it's sweet. So here we have it. It's pretty much cooked. Some people like it a little bit thinner. Some people like it this way. This is how I like it. So basically, let me taste it. I think it's good. Might need a little bit of, a tiny bit more time to cook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it cook for another 2 minutes on low fire. So this is what it looks like when it's fully cooked. You see those bubbles in there. So yeah, and as I said, I added a little bit more water. So instead of adding the milk in the blender, when you're blending it, just add the water. That way it won't have to be so thick, and you don't have to go and add more water later on if you are using the creamer. So it depends all on the type of milk that you're using. If you're using a thick milk, something like a creamer, like I just used, you might want to add the water in the blender. And if your soy milk or almond milk is pretty thin, and you want it to have this consistency, just use milk instead. Basically, that's what I usually use. But my creamer, I started just using the creamer only recently. So you can use a combination of both if you like, and see how it goes. Just as you are cooking it, you add as much milk or much sugar or creamer you like. So let me know how it came out. If you did this, if you made this, leave some comments, and thank you for watching. Bye.